If you are now, or have ever been, a parent to a 15-year-old, you know just how impressionable and fickle they can be. Keep that in mind as we tell you about a shocking new policy in one western state that would allow 15-year-olds to have sex change procedures done without parents even knowing about it.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring thee down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Here's correspondent Dan Springer in Oregon.
15-year-olds in Oregon can't smoke, give blood, or get a tattoo, but now they can get drugs to suppress puberty and even a sex change operation without their parents' consent, and the government will pay for it.
It is trespassing on the hearts, the minds, and the bodies of our children. They're our children. And for a decision, a life-altering decision like that to be done unbeknownst to a parent or a guardian it's mind-boggling.
The decision was made by Oregon's Health Evidence Review Commission, or HERC. With no public debate, it began covering cross-sex hormones, puberty-suppressing drugs, and sex reassignment surgeries for Medicaid enrollees in January. A transgender activist says not requiring parental permission will save lives through suicide prevention.
Parents may not be supportive. They may not be in an environment where they feel the parent will affirm their identity.
The American Psychiatric Association classifies gender dysphoria as a mental disorder. A 2008 study concluded most children with gender dysphoria grow out of it after puberty. Johns Hopkins University was the first U.S. medical center to perform sex change operations, but stopped after studying the outcomes. Its longtime director of psychiatry calls Oregon's policy child abuse.
We have a very radical and even mutilating treatment being offered to children without any evidence that the long-term outcome of this sort would be good.
We tried repeatedly to get an Oregon Health Authority official on camera to explain and defend the sex change policy, but they kept putting up roadblocks. In fact, one spokeswoman even lied to us about the medical director's work schedule. We eventually found her. Hey, Dr. Smits? Can I ask a couple questions? The Oregon Health Authority can't say how many children have been treated by the state for gender dysphoria since January. HERC estimates it will lead to one less suicide attempt a year and cost about $150,000. In Salem, Dan Springer, Fox News.
"15-year-olds in Oregon who feel they were born in the wrong body can get a sex change operation paid for by the state, and they can do it without their parents' consent."
The child is not ready to make those adult decisions. I'm a public school teacher, and I can't even give a child a cough drop or an aspirin without permission. They can't go on a field trip without permission.
We know that they do very well when they receive the services, just like we know that youth who need a kidney transplant do very well when they get a transplant. Youth who have diabetes do very well when they get insulin.
Our Power Panel is in to talk about this topic. I'm joined by Nick Adams, political and cultural commentator, Gene Marks, CPA and business columnist, and psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober, who happens to have treated some of these kinds of patients. So I want to start with you. Is 15 the right age to be able to do this kind of life-changing surgery without parental consent?
No. These are very, very, very rare cases, but these are tormented souls. They have higher risks of substance abuse, suicide, they drop out of school. They require evaluation by a multidisciplinary team of experts in consultation with their parents. They simply do not have the capacities to make these types of decisions without discussing it with their parents and with a lot of people. Because this surgery is so radical and irreversible, it really needs to be done very thoughtfully and with great restraint.
You know, Gene, we just heard a school teacher say, look, I can't even give an aspirin to my kid without calling the parent. And as a parent, I know that that's true.
Yeah.
So this seems a little disproportionate, doesn't it?
It's a little crazy. I mean, look, Gretchen, I have 3 kids that are all 20 years old. They're all in college here. And I'm telling you, all 3 of them, sometimes they forget to put their shoes on before they go outside, right, during the winter. So the thought that this would actually be like a decision that you would leave up to a 15-year-old child, and it's a huge, huge decision. I don't even know what the right age would be to do. I don't even know if I'm old enough to make that decision.
Okay,
so
Nick, are you going to agree with the two of them?
Absolutely, Gretchen. I mean, it's madness. It's crazy. The people there in Oregon, they clearly think that they're onto something. I think that they're just on something. The reality is that, put the medical condition aside, there's really 2 problems here. One is the state-funded nature of this, and the second is that this is an attack on the family. This is the government putting a wedge between children and their parents. America's founders would be rolling in their graves.
Okay. Gentlemen, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.